Hey, everybody. I am here today with Christy Mitchell, marketing strategist from the Accelerated Business Alliance. We are here just jumping on to just have a general conversation and really talk to you about execution and attracting your dream clients, and really focusing on it from a perspective beyond just social media. Christy and I talk a lot about this. We really, I have my route to fully booked framework. She has her 4-part marketing funnel framework, and they work so well together. And so we're really kind of talking about step 5 in my framework, which is execution, and step 1 in her framework, which is attract. And so what we really want to talk about today is beyond social media. Like, let's talk about beyond. What does it look like beyond social media? So Christy, let's talk about different ways that what are some things that people can do right now immediately to take action, to actually execute? I think we think we're executing a lot of times because people show up on social media, they post, they comment, they engage, and so they're executing, right? And they're attracting their dream clients. Actually, I had somebody yesterday tell me it wasn't her job to attract clients. And I just was like, well, whose job is it then? Like, if it's not your job, whose job is it? But anyway, talk a little bit about, I know that you really focus on some other avenues beyond social media. So let's talk about them. I want to just have some conversation and talk about the things that have worked for you in the past.
Right. So the attract in my framework, like the attract is the top of the funnel. So it's how are you getting in front of people and how are you helping people get to know you and what it is that you offer. And social media is one way you can do that, but there are so many other ways. So for me personally, last year, I made it a goal to get interviewed on a certain number of podcasts. I knew that I wasn't ready to like launch my own, but I thought, okay, if I can find, podcast hosts who are willing to interview me, like, that's a pretty easy way. Like, I just need to carve out, half hour to an hour of my time to chat with them and, showcase my expertise, and they do all the admin work and then I get the content to share. I think that's a great way to get in front of new audiences and give yourself some content that you can use to post on social if you're there. Share in your email blast, just share it with people who are considering working with you. Great way to showcase like your expertise and thought leadership.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, that you is being able to repurpose these podcast interviews, right? I think that is something that is so missed, is that we do these podcast interviews and then we just kind of post about it when it launches and then that's the end of it. But most of the time in those conversations, some of your best golden nuggets come up, right? Because somebody else is asking you the question. So it's a great way to share your expertise and truly attract those clients because somebody else is asking the questions. You've got an outside perspective that really is kind of drawing that expertise out of you.
Yes. I'll add too that I decided to put them all on my website, on my about page. I'm actually thinking I might create a whole separate page just for that because the list has gotten kind of long now. But I had a client who came to me earlier this year and she said, like, I was on your website, I listened to some of your podcasts, I read some of your blogs, and it was like,
oh my gosh,
it was such a good feeling to like get that validation that like someone's consuming this content and it helps lead them to want to work with me.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. So let's talk about that from an attracting perspective, right? Like, so it's execution. So you executed on, who your target market is, what you offer, and you're executing, right? So you're executing on that, but then also being able to attract and really showcase your expertise. Like she said, I listened to your podcast interviews. I saw what you're doing. That's a great idea. Would never have thought to like showcase them on your website, but that brings us to another point that like websites are not dead, right? People do go to your website, they stalk your information, they want to look at you. This is what I'm saying beyond social media. Like, yes, social media is there, but there are so many other things that you need to do to amplify the efforts that you put onto social media, and doing something like that, a podcast interview, but then also sharing it and having this collective list of things that you've done in places that people can hear and speak and hear you speak. That's a great idea. I love that one.
Yeah. And I put SEO on that attract list for sure. Like making sure that you have specific keywords. I work with so many clients who are like, I don't know how people get to my website. And like, we look at the data and we like evaluate it. And usually they don't have a keyword strategy in place. So like, what is it that you want someone to type into Google and then arrive at your website for? Like, it sounds really basic, but most people don't take the time to think through it and then make sure that you're weaving those keywords all throughout your website so that Google knows to serve up your website when someone is searching for these things.
Yeah. So for those of you that are watching, I'll put in the comments here So we talked about taking action, right? So number one action tip here, based on this conversation, one thing that you can do is get a collective list together of all the interviews you've done, whether it's been in master classes, whether it's been on podcasts. Get a collective list, keep a list, and either showcase it on your socials, showcase it on your website, send it out in an email blast. And hey, by the way, this is an old interview. It's sometimes some of these older interviews are some of the better ones too, right? Like, and it also draws back different attention, different conversations. So that's a quick action tip that you can do right now is go back through and figure out and see where have you been interviewed? What things have you done? Even a Facebook Live like this or a LinkedIn Live, some kind of live show. Anything like that. If you've taught a masterclass to somebody, which I know is where we're going next, is being able to do presentations, masterclasses, showcasing, teaching people something easy and fast. And you have an upcoming masterclass talking about your marketing funnel framework, right? And you did a lot of masterclasses last year, correct?
I did dipped my toe in. I did a social media strategy webinar series, like a 3-part webinar series. And now what I'm doing this year is a masterclass. So I put together a presentation on the marketing funnel framework, and I've given the presentation like at least 4 times now. And then it was like, well, why don't I just offer this to my network? Because when I gave the presentation, it was 2 like closed networking groups, or like one of them was like a group of nonprofit leaders. And so like these small closed off things that aren't openly available to the public. So I was like, well, why not take what I've already created there that I've gotten really good feedback from the attendees? Like, wow, this was so simple, but so effective. Now I like know what I need to focus on. Or, it's getting them thinking about working with me. And so why not just offer that as like a free masterclass and, put it out there to, again, showcase my expertise to my audience and, bring them in, help them get to know more about me and the way that I work with clients, and to give them some really helpful nuggets to really identify gaps in their own funnel so that they can start working on fixing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the masterclass idea because the thing is it's such an intimate way for people to get to know you on a specific pain point. You're not trying to teach them the world. Like a masterclass, a mini course. I actually just saw a post on LinkedIn, somebody else who recommended and said it's like her number one lead magnet, what she recommends to her clients because they work, right? They solve an immediate problem for somebody, right? That's what you're trying to do is figure out what is something that you can teach 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes that solves an immediate problem. This is not like a deep dive. This is a mini course. This is giving people even something like this. I mean, this could even an interview of something like this or with somebody else. Collaborate. Find somebody else that you can collaborate with. That's the power. I mean, that's what we focus a lot on in the Accelerated Business Alliance is being able to collaborate and how can we work together to solve somebody else's problems, just like we're doing right now, right? I teach execution, you teach attraction. Like, how can we combine both of those frameworks and really help people grow? Collaborate and teach people solve a pain point. Every single one of you probably can create some kind of masterclass that you can teach very easily. Do not need to get wrapped up in all the tech. I mean, it could be as simple as a live. It could be as simple as a Zoom. I mean, you can even use the Zoom registration process. You don't have to have a fancy landing page and everything else. I think there's so many ways that you can do this and really bring in like your upcoming masterclass. What do you have? You have over 30 people registered, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's really just sharing it on social media and sending it out to my email list.
Yeah. And through the Alliance, right? Like just we're all sharing it for you, right? Like absolutely. Yeah. And being able to share and do, through other people as well. Like there's so much power in that because other people, right, don't know, right? I don't teach that. So of course I want to share it with my audience. It's value add. That's the power of collaboration. It's about adding value. So there's your action tip number 2. That's again, we wanted to give you guys quick action tips today. Action tip number 2. Find one topic that you can teach about. We've all seen that post on social media. What's something you can talk about for 30 minutes with no prep, right? If you've seen that, like think about it. The reason that question is so popular is because it's designed to get you thinking about what is it that you can teach somebody easily and effectively in a short amount of time. So figure out what that is and create some kind of masterclass, do something, register and get people in your circle and get people to notice you. That's what You know, a lot of people are talking. I know Grant Cardone always says, get attention, keep the attention, amplify the attention. You've got to get the attention on you. And a masterclass is a great way to do that. And then I would say for me, the third one that you and I talk a lot about is networking, like having coffee chats, taking the conversation offline. Like you and I met on social media on LinkedIn, but we had a conversation offline, which is how that converted into, you know, you becoming a member of the alliance and you referring other people and the collaborative efforts that we've done. It's through a conversation offline and learning more about each other, learning more how we could help one another, learning how we could figure out like how do our differences, like the things that we teach and the things that we do for our clients, how do they work together for everybody. And so taking those conversations offline, I know you're a huge networker. You do a lot of coffee chats. And if you guys are following me on social media, you know, one of my goals is to do 100 coffee chats this year. But I'll be honest, to me, that is one of the quickest actions you could take is scheduling at least one coffee chat a week. And I think it's a complete game changer for your business. I encourage more than that, but one is plenty.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that that's where, you know, we kind of, Michelle and I were talking about doing this live, and it was like, you know, how can people like get off social media? Like if they're annoyed with it, they're just over it. I mean, looking at your social media account is an opportunity to specifically find people that you want to meet with. Like if you're tired of posting content and you just can't find the time and the energy to like keep with the content and you want to take a break from it, fine. But then just go out and surf. Like look through, you know, people who you see a lot, people who are commenting, people who fit kind of your ideal client, you know, persona. Send them a DM. Hey, you know, saw that you posted on this. I would love to learn more about you and your business. Like, you know, would you be open to that? And then schedule a coffee chat. Like such a great way to use social media in a different way that I think people forget.
Yeah, and I think I know the one kickback that I get all the time about coffee chats is, Michelle, they're so time consuming. They're so time consuming. But to me, it's like look at how much information we've been able to share or different things in a matter of 12 minutes. We've been going live for 12 minutes at this point. Like the same can happen on a coffee chat. You can get so much information out of somebody in 15 minutes that would probably take you months to figure out on social media, right? And that's assuming that you see their content. It's assuming that you understand their content and that it's clear versus just being able to have a conversation and say, here's what I do. Here's what my framework involves. Here's the things I suggest. Here's who I best serve. Like those conversations happen so quickly. And then to me, it completely streamlines and makes everything so much faster. It's not time consuming at all because to me, it's far more time consuming to have to scroll on social and watch somebody's content every day or every other day or something like that and try to hope to God that you figure out what they do.
Yeah, I think too, like I'll be totally honest. I mean, Michelle knows this. Like I started out the year being like, I'm overwhelmed by networking. Like I'm doing too much networking. It's taking up too much time on my calendar. But what I really realized was I wasn't networking with the right people. Like I was just taking whatever meetings got like thrown at me because someone would be like, oh, you should talk to Christy. Like, and then I'm on the call and I'm like, I don't really know why this person got referred to me. Like I always like meeting new people, but when it comes down to it, like we got to think about our business and how are we like building our business through the networking that we're doing. So especially if you're the one doing the reach out because you picked this specific person because they might be a client for you or they might be a good referral partner for you, that's going to be time well spent.
Absolutely. And so that's, I would say, our third action. We're getting ready to wrap it up here. We wanted to keep this short and sweet. So number 3 action is that you can go and find at least one person through all of your socials, somebody that you see their name in their content, you see their name in your feed all the time. Reach out to them. If you have not had a coffee chat or a conversation with them offline, take the step and go and take action and actually have a conversation with them offline. You have no idea where that conversation will lead you. And 90% of the time it leads somewhere positive. Something positive is going to happen, whether it's an introduction to somebody else, whether it's a potential client, a potential referral partner, something else. Maybe it's even just another place where you could hang out with your ideal client. They know somebody, right? So that I think is a killer action item that you can take. So that would be number 3. All right. And we're going to wrap it up. So Christy, I would love for you to just share about your masterclass. So action tip number 2, if you want to see how it's done, Christy's got a masterclass coming up. So tell everybody about that quick.
I do. It's a week from today. So next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be 30 minutes, short and sweet. It'll be like 20 minutes of me talking and then 10 minutes of Q&A. So it's really meant for people who are doing a lot of things when it comes to marketing. They're established business owners. They're looking to, grow their business and work smarter, not harder when it comes to their marketing. And so we're going to go through my marketing funnel framework. I'm going to be asking you to take notes and like work through it with me while we're going. And you're going to walk away with a few ideas on how you can really ramp up your marketing efforts and make sure that you have a cohesive strategy. Because a lot of times there's like a gaping hole that people identify by going through this process.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to network and you want to have real conversations, we have open speed networking tomorrow. If you've not attended speed networking or ever been a part of a speed networking event, it's so fun. I usually ask 2 really thought-provoking questions for you to have those conversations so that it's not like that awkward, what do we talk about when you're in that room? I always make sure that the conversation stays going. So we have open speed networking tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can reach out to anybody in the Alliance. Go to the Accelerated Business Alliance LinkedIn page, Facebook page, or simply DM me and I will make sure to get you the link to that. But we would love to see you inside of Open Speed Networking. And really, just for those of you that are not aware, the Alliance is truly designed to help you. It's designed to be that close-knit circle of all of your favorite entrepreneurs, your biz besties, your best referral partners and strategic partners. Is a place to not only network, but also truly to mastermind, to have those tough conversations, to get that insight and feedback that you need to stop spinning your wheels when you're questioning something. So it's a combination of both networking, which is so powerful for growth, but also masterminds, which to me are a non-negotiable. I think, Christy, you can agree now after being in a mastermind that it is truly a game changer for your business. And that was the goal in creating the Accelerated Business Alliance, was to nicely combine the 2 of them to create a space for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, small business owners to just have everything and anything that they need at their fingertips with everybody inside of there.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's a fun place to be. And we've got new members coming in next week. So if you're interested, let me know. Again, you can drop a comment, send me a DM. I'd be happy to chat with you about it. But anyways, we'll wrap this up. You've got your 3 action tips. We'll wrap it up. Your 3 actions. Go get a list of podcasts or Facebook Lives or things that you have done with other people and showcase them. Send out an email, put them on your website, share something on social media. Number 2, come up with something that you could teach a masterclass on or a mini course. What is one pain point, whether it's with you or in collaboration with somebody else? Host a masterclass. And then number 3, reach out to somebody in your network that you have not had a conversation with offline and get that conversation scheduled. Anything else you want to add, Christy?
No, I would also just say I'm happy to chat with anybody who's considering the Alliance because I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right, Christy, we'll talk soon. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care. Yep. Bye.